Hi, this is Henric of the Swedish black and death metal band NIGHTRAGE, and you're listening to The Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International. And I like to congratulate Metal Messiah Radio with its 30th anniversary.
Okay, Henric, I want to thank you very much for taking time out for this interview, and I want to welcome you to the Metal Bloodshed with a Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome. To start this interview, Henric, especially for new fans, you are a very busy but talented musician that are always doing music in different bands like NIGHTRAGE, Death by April, Eternal Grief, to say some. Most recently, after 10 years, you left the Swedish melodic groove metal band. I'm talking about the UNGUIDED. Why did you part it away from the band? And besides NIGHTRAGE, which are the bands you are still part of?
Yeah, we can start with the UNGUIDED. I was there for 10 years, as I said, and after a while I was facing myself with not having the time to do what I love the most. And I just had to make a change in my life to be able to focus on NIGHTRAGE. And I've been writing NIGHTRAGE music for around 20 years, but never put a band together. So this was the time I just felt that, okay, I have to do this now. I have to make my own music that speaks from my heart 100%. NIGHTRAGE music is 100% me. It's been since I was 15, and I just had to do this band. And I put it together. I wrote a song. I sent it to the drummer, Janne, and he just joined directly. And it's been going well since.
Okay, very great. But tell us, Henric, are you still part of some other bands besides NIGHTRAGE?
Yes, I still play with a band called Cypher System. Eternal Grief started out as Eternal Grief, and then we changed name because of a legal thing with the label that didn't want to release our album, so we had to change name. And so we changed name in 2000 or something like that, from Eternal Grief to Cypher System. And then I have a band called Solution 45 with Christian Elvestam and some other guys.
Okay, wow, I didn't know that. Very great to know. When we talk about Gothenburg and death metal, I mean, this one sentence, warming dark heart of every metal fan, especially when we talk about bands like Dark Guilty, At the Gates, In Flames, and many other bands who were the origins of melodic death metal. They're all coming from this town. And not to forget this great black death metal band, NIGHTRAGE, are also part of this elite list. Talking about Gothenburg and Sweden, how have you guys survived this pandemic? And what was the worst part, of being in the making of this new album in between the pandemic?
The best part of being in the pandemic was actually that you couldn't be out playing. You couldn't take so much time as a regular year. You usually spend a lot of time in the bus and play gigs and stuff like that. But this year we were only home. We couldn't go out and play because nobody could show up. So it was a lot of time writing. I usually tend to write songs pretty fast, but this year we got together and recorded and wrote and everything in just 1 year. The first album we released was just around the time when the pandemic hit in Sweden in February, March. So we didn't get any gigs. All the gigs that we had booked were canceled, so there was nothing else to do, and I love music so much I can't take a break from that, so I had to start writing the new album, and here we are a year later. It's out, and that's a lot to thanks of the pandemic, of course, as I had a lot more time on my spare time.
But how are things going? I mean, are you guys all vaccinated there in Gothenburg? Is this process going very on a speed away? I mean,
yeah, we have a lot of people being vaccinated. I think we have like 4 million people vaccinated or something right now. I don't know if that's the number I heard, but I don't know if that's in Sweden. But I know that a lot of people has been vaccinated here, and we are open now to vaccinate down to the age of 18. So it's just finding a time to get vaccinated and then go get it. So it's far in the sense of being able to do it, but I haven't got my shot yet, but I will.
But Henric, talking about this, do you believe, seeing that the process, especially in Europe, are going so fast, and even in the States, do you see any possibilities that shows will reopen this year itself?
I think at least not for us, because I think there is a lot of bands out there that have make a living out of music, and we're not there. I just made this band because I love music and I love this kind of music. I never thought that I would make a living from it. So that would be a dream come true, but that's not where we are mentally right now. We are more focused on releasing good albums and maybe do like 20 shows a year as a start. But right now, I don't think it will be happening. Maybe for other bands.
I'm talking about in general. In Sweden, do you think do you see any possibilities for shows to start this year itself?
Yes. Regarding shows in general, Sabaton just played a show for 40,000 people in some European country. So it's already starting. And I know there will be festivals starting next weekend. So shows are on.
Okay, very great to know that, man.
Yeah.
Okay, NIGHTRAGE was born in Sweden in 2016, a melodic black death metal band made up of well-known names in the metal genre, art part of having been part of bands like Dark Funeral, EVOCATION, NIGHTRAGE, the Unguided, Dark Forces, and many more. How did you guys get together to form this band? And if you don't mind, please present us the band current lineup.
Yeah, of course. It all started with me writing songs, and I actually just called some friends and asked if they were interested in joining, because I had a sound in mind. I know exactly how I wanted it to sound, and I know what the members had to be able to do. So I have a couple of friends that I really like, and I called Johan, who has been my friend for 25 years, and Janne, who I known for well over 10 years. And Ken, the singer, is actually the newest friend that I had. He lives maybe 5 hours drive from me, but quickly we become great friends, and he is a really good friend now after 4 years together in the band. And it's Ken who sings, me who write music, the most part of the music, and then we all add our flavor, of course. But I come with the finished song, and then they add, like Johan add his clean vocals and guitar solos and stuff like that. And Janne brings all his amazing drums on all the songs. So it's right now it's the four of us. Maybe we'll add a bass player in the future.
Okay, with 2 EPs and 2 full-length albums, the band already chalking up an impressive back catalog to hold on the belt, with a music vision as clear as it's haunting and disturbing, and the band created an imposing work of rage, melancholy, and pure destruction, offering a true reawakening of the sounds dormant from the most influential masterpieces of the Scandinavian 90s. Henric, you are the main songwriting, going back to what you were saying, but tell us, how does this collaboration goes among the bands when it comes to start writing music for the new albums?
It's fairly easy, as I'm bored in 1980, so I was 12 or 13 when I discovered Dismember, Napalm Death, and Entombed, and all those bands came out with groundbreaking albums. But for me, it was just new albums. I still remember in '94 when everybody was talking, you should hear the new At the Gates album, it's going to be something else. And because my friend, they had been in Studio Fredman when they recorded it, and they heard it, and they was blown away by the sound. Mm-hmm. And then Slaughter of the Soul came out. And then the same year, Dissection came out with Storm of Light's Bane. And for me, In Flames did Just a Race and was really important. And then Sacramentum came, and all these bands all made up to my youth, my teenage years. They became so important albums for me. Bands like Edge of Sanity was always there, and all these bands molded together and made my, this is my music. As you grow older, you hear and you listen to new bands, and they release great albums, but it was still those bands from my teenage years that meant the most to me. And this is still the albums that made me want to start NIGHTRAGE now. I really, really want to show my appreciation to those classic albums, but still I want to make it my own. And that's the whole feeling I want to create, but I want to do something more modern, and not modern in I want to add in new influences, like modern influences, but I want to make it sound good. the production should be a bit more modern, so you can actually hear what the drummer is playing in all the way, and you can actually hear the guitar. Some ways those albums are classic and perfect, but I don't think I want to make something of my own and have those classic influences, but still make it us.
Yeah, with this modern vibe.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a bit more like I mix, everything from Norway, from Finland, from Sweden.
Wow.
But it's still the same era of time, in the 90s, mid 90s. That's where when Amorphis came out and Dark Throne came out and Satyricon, and all these bands really make me want, this is the sound that I really want to craft. But then again, the Satanist by Behemoth is an awesome album, so that inspired me as well. But it's not a classic 90s album, but it still has the right vibe, and there are a lot of albums coming out now. I think it's more like it feels like the scene is growing again with this kind of sound, the hailing from the 90s. And
some of the bands that, not all, but some of the bands that you mentioned, the good thing is that they're still doing music and they're still recording.
Yeah, that's the awesome part, actually. Unanimated, they are recording a new album right now. And that's one of those, classic for me. I've been listening to them a lot. And, almost all no fashion bands, the label from Sweden that released like Dark Funeral and all those classics. I have all those albums at home, still listening to them.
Okay, talking about albums, you guys have released your EP, Humanity Will Echo Out. Was released November 2018 via the Swedish Black Lion record. The band also appeared on this compilation album Afterlife in Darkness Part 1 that was in 2019 alongside great bands like Bleeding Utopia, Vangha, Nihility, Blood for Me, Black Therapy, The Warm Light, and Hinayana, to say some great bands that falls under the moniker of Black Lion record at the time. This great Swedish record label, I'm talking about Black Lion Record, has a great reputation with great bands on their roster. What was your experience with Black Lion Records, and do you believe that doors are still open for future collaboration?
I really like this label. When I recorded the EP, I sent it to Oliver, who's the main guy there, and I just told him I would love you to release this. I think it would fit perfect for your label, and he was blown away by the EP, so that was really cool. And if we want to do something with him in the future, I have no problem seeing us doing stuff with him. And I think that's probably not a problem at all. I'm actually releasing an EP with a friend of mine this fall with him.
Okay.
I wrote some songs for a friend together with him, and we're releasing an EP on 5 songs this fall in, I think it's October, with a new band called Av Dagatal. It's very Swedish sounding.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be working with Black Lion Record for this?
Yes, they released one song of it on YouTube, I think 2 days ago or something.
Please write the name of the album for me so I can look it up.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, but Nattkrönt took the heavy scene by storm with their debut studio album, Impius, this is Latin, Impius Viam, released February 28, 2020 via the German Noble Demon. It's flawless and relentless mix of aggression, atmosphere, and captivating melodies and great songs, I must say, like Era, Unholy Path, Reborn, Nocturnal Pulse, Your Ending, Your Demise, Your Sacrilegious, Flesh, Ego, Scum, Bestia, to mention some. How was this album being received by fans and critics, Henric, and why have you decided to add the 2 previous songs from the EPs to this album?
Yeah, we didn't expect too much as it was a completely new band. We were talking to some big labels before we signed with Noble Demon, but it felt just great. The guy who runs it, Patrick, is an awesome guy. I was signed to Nuclear Blast for a couple of years with a band called Cypher System, and we had a lot to do with Patrick on the digital side there. And when he said that he started to make his own label, I just felt that, I need to reach out and talk to him. So we were actually the second band that the label signed, and it felt really good from the start, as he was working for Nuclear Blast before, and the PR department was from Nate Records, and it all felt really good. good with a good distribution and everything. And the release went really well. We got great reviews. Not as good as we did on this last album, but it was really good. But as soon as we released the album, I just felt that, okay, I need to change some things up. We weren't completely satisfied with everything, even though we thought that we had great songs and all that. But there were some improvements to be made on the second album. So we understood the critics, and we also took some critic to us. The first album, the critic that we got was not that it was bad. It was just that this could be improved. We took some pieces of that, and we also had some pieces of our own. So that was really cool. Actually get some feedback that you can implement change in and turn out really good on the second album. When we recorded the EP, Janne wasn't a part of Dog Funeral at that time. So he didn't really practice the drums that much. He has a very unique set of skills, so he is really good in drumming, but he didn't practice as much. So when he joined Dark Funeral, he started practicing a lot, because now he had to do these blast beats for like 4 minutes straight. That's going in ultra speed. We talked about it. Maybe we should record these songs again. And he was the one who actually instigated that whole idea, because he really wanted to make the drums sound better on those songs. So when we released the album, he re-recorded all the drums, and the difference is a lot. It's a big difference. So I was really happy that we could include them, but when you look at it, it's far too many songs for an album. It's 12 songs. We changed that on the next album. We only did 9, but it felt really good with 9 songs on an album. So we learned our lesson. Don't make too much songs.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys have to be proud to have these songs like I mentioned, Era, On Holy Path, Reborn, all these great songs. Maybe they haven't been received enough attention when they was released on the EP, which they could have on the album.
Yeah, that's also a thought, because it's still an EP. If you release an EP, you don't get any reviews. You almost don't get any interviews. You don't get any radio airplay. It's just, okay, it's an EP. It's a demo from a band. That's the press kind of interpretation of what it is. But for us, it was just a taste of what's to come. And as you said, it would be a waste to not release them and have people finding it out. But of course, there will be people who have the EP and, okay, we heard it before. But I mean, those are just a small number. It was really quick. This new album already has 100,000 listenings on Spotify. We released the album 1 week ago. So that was also the big difference in the album. We got a lot of listeners on Spotify and stuff like that. And a lot of followers started following us after the album was released. And it was a lot of those EP songs that people mentioned that they really liked on the album. So I think it was really important to have it there, but we will not make such a long album again.
Henric, to continue with this interview, NIGHTRAGE returned after only a year with the band's sophomore following to their critically acclaimed debut, Impius Viam, with the band's second full-length album, Hädanfärd.
Yeah.
Released on July 9, 2021 via Normal Demon. Okay, again, after having released 2 albums already with this German label, also a new label, I must say, how are the support going with the label towards the band for this second album?
We see that they understand that we are in business. We really, really want to push this band and make people know about it. So as they see that we invest a lot, I mean, we made a couple of videos for the first album, and we made 2 for this new. We invest a lot of money and a lot of time in this album and music. So I think all thanks to that, they invest more time and money as well. And we have like Facebook chats together with the label that we talk to them for like a couple of times every week. I'm not used to this. I've been signed to a lot of labels and I hardly ever speak to them. But this contact with this label is totally different. It was exactly the same with Black Lion Records. So both these labels, they work in similar ways. They're very on it. They're interested and they really invest their time in the band and do their best. So for the first album, we had like 2 vinyl versions. On this new one, we have 3, and they had bigger numbers of printed vinyls, and they invest a lot of in time in us. Of course, they invest a lot of in all their bands, but it feels really that we get great treatment. So very happy.
Okay, talking about this great new album, in support of this new album, last April, you guys have unleashed a haunting video clip for the track Nattkrönt. And the last month, June 4th, an official music video for the track Fjättrad. What can you tell us about these two videos and how was it working with Rabot Production and Joel Filmson?
Randy, who did the first Nattkrönt video, he did it all by himself. We just came up with an idea what we wanted and what we wanted to have, and he just went in and did exactly what we envisioned and made it a lot better. And the whole concept for the album is this guy who walks in the woods for a time. He's alone and he's just strolling around, and then all of a sudden he sees an old man in front of him. So he walks up to him and they start walking, and the old man is telling him stories about his life, all these crazy stories. And then at the end of all these stories, the guy realized that the old man that he met was death, and the day that he met him was the day that he died. So that's the whole concept for the album, and that was what we tried to envision with the video as well. But it's really hard to make that without any people in it. So we tried to get this feeling of the haunting feeling that you're speaking about in the video, and I think he succeeded very well. And then we had the official video. Joel was really good. When you record a video, you tend to make thousands of takes in a day. No, I'm exaggerating, but a lot of takes of the same song all the day long, and you're never finished until everybody's neck is broken. But this time we came in and we just recorded 2-3 shots of each individual, and it was just done. It was so smooth, it went perfect, and he got exactly the right emotion and feeling straight away, and he understood. But that was all thanks to good communication before we even started working. I'm very picky with how I want it to be looking and how I want it to feel. Exactly with the music. It's very important that it feels right. So I've had an vision. They understood it perfectly. So I'm very happy with that.
with 9 tracks spanning over 45 minutes. The band's new album, Hädanfärd, released July 9th, 2021. I mean, for all the fans that already know the bands and love the band, and also for new fans, how would you describe this album?
It's an album kind of as a modern take on the classic 90s black and death metal from Sweden, Norway, and Finland. It has bombastic places. It has fast parts, really fast. I think we're up into 270 BPM. I don't know if there are any musicians out there, but if you're a drummer, you understand that that's crazy fast. But also, we try to make all these fast parts together with a heavy part. So it's not completely fast all the time. It's really a lot of melody built into all the fast riffs and the grand choruses and all that, because I was always a junkie for it. I found this on these classic albums that I listened to when I grew up. It was always about, oh, that part at 142. I have to go back to that part and listen to that again, because that only comes one time in the song, you know. And I wanted to make those parts in every song. I want to make it more, something that you want to listen to again and again and again. And the music is very busy, you know, it happens new stuff all the time. If you listen to the song once, you will not be able to hear all the small details. So listen to it again and you hear new stuff. And that's very important for me. It shouldn't be an album that you get tired of in a second. I really wanted to make it happening and be interesting to listen to, even though we have heard it 100 times before.
You're very right. I mean, I also recommend to all, especially new fans, come on, don't listen to one song or don't listen to the album just once and already have your opinion and just throw the album aside. Just give it a shot. I mean, listen 3, 4, 5 times as possible, especially to get to know what the music is about and get to know what the band is about, how the music is written, the melodies and everything.
I agree. I have the same problem myself. When I listen to a new album, it's easy to say, I just listen to 30 seconds and then I'm done. But I hardly listen to music on digital platforms anymore. Yeah, I hear that, that's an album, that's great. I buy it on vinyl and I listen to it in my vinyl player. And then you can't skip songs. You listen to the album as it was meant to be listened. And that's really, I had a big problem with us releasing singles on this album, because I don't want them to hear just one song of the album. I want them to hear all, because they together paint the picture that I want to make.
And believe me, that's something really true. You get that the track number 1 has to do with track number 2. If you go to talk about lyrics, you know what this album is about. The context, you know, one track follow each other to understand what is happening in this real story.
I mean, so before, the story about this guy who meets death it's really every song is built together. You can take away maybe one song or that isn't like an important part of the story. But if you would take away Fjättrad as a second single, the whole album would be changed. So maybe Grått Ödelagt, that's I think it's the 8th song. That's okay, because those lyrics are just a story. It's not an important part of the whole story, but they're all together. It's really a big piece of puzzle that Ken has written, and it's really, really cool. Sorry that nobody can understand it outside of Sweden.
No, but okay. I mean, again, Henric, saying this again, that come on, to all of you out there, don't just listen to a promotional singer or 2, 3 promotional singer and tell me that you know the album. Get it? No. You have to listen to the complete album and at least 3, 4 times, and then to make your decision.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, continue with this interview for the 2020 release. Impius Viam, guitars and bass was recorded at the studio White Room, while drums was recorded at Disaster Studio, and the vocals were recorded at the Man Cave Studio. Was this the same with this new album? And if that was not the case, where was the recordings done, and how about the mixing and mastering?
Yeah, we recorded all these own home studios, Man Cave Studios. It's where Ken recorded his vocals, and that's more or less just a computer. I record at home, and I have my amp, and I have my guitar room and all that, but my studio is small. But Janne, who recorded drums, he has this big drum room, which fits perfect for him to record drums at home. So he actually built his own studio. And Johan, who played guitar, he also has just built his own studio. So we actually have a really, really cool studio set up at home. So this is an investment that we we've made because we don't want to go to big studios and invest money into someone else to record us when we could do it ourselves just as good.
That's great.
Yeah, but I mean, we've been in this business for 25 years. We've made some decisions during the way that led to this, and it just feels great to do this. What we can't do ourselves is mix and mastering. And on the first album, we had Jonathan Torpenberg, who did mix and master and was really cool. This time around, we had Scott Crocker, and Janne, who plays the drums, actually was there and during the mixing and put down sounds together with Scott, and it's turned out really, really good. The difference on the first album and this new album is you can actually hear all instruments a lot better. It's more clear in the production and not as 100% distortion and everything, but it's clear in the sound. So very happy with the album sound on this album, but of course I already have plans for new changes on the third album.
But talking about this album, initially was planned as a double album in English as well in Swedish. Hädanfärd was released in Swedish language only and made available on digital CD, vinyls, digital and limited vinyl CD merch and bundles. Why have you not went forward with what has been planned to release the album as a double CD, and how are the reaction from the fans to this masterpiece?
The thing was that we had to choose one version to be released. We could release one version and then the other version would be digital. And we just felt that we don't want to release this Swedish version only digital, because I thought this is probably what the label would want. They would want to release the English version. And we just felt that the Swedish version was so much more honest. It just felt right. And the English one didn't felt just as good. So we actually just said, let's not do that English version. And we make this album for ourselves first, and then, of course, for the ones who likes us. But I think they would forgive us for only putting it out in Swedish. It's much more to feel happy with it.
Okay, I believe so far. I mean, I've heard the songs on the album, and even though that, I don't quite understand what you guys are talking about, but I really enjoy every songs, every riffs of each track on this album. Once again, I congratulate you guys for doing such a great work, man.
Thank you very much. Glad to hear that.
Okay, talking about this being a great album, tell me, I mean, I must be also honest that you guys have done a great cover artwork. Who are responsible for this one, and what are there available in merchandises?
On the first album, we had this guy standing in a portal. And for us, that was a guy that we envisioned was dead as well. So the first album and the second album goes hand in hand in the thematic theme. On this album, we found this guy who made an artwork for sale, and we just felt, oh shit, that's the one we should have. So we bought that one from a guy called Sick Realism. I don't know if he's made any other big artworks. Ken, the singer, just found this and sent it to me, and I said, oh shit, let's take it. So he did the artwork on the front page, and then we have a friend who makes all the layouts here from Gothenburg, who is just as old as me. So he was also 14 when all these classic death metal albums came out, and he has the exact same influences. So I know exactly the feeling I was going after. So back to that, everything has to feel right. Yeah, he found a perfect look as well. But then merchandise, we have a couple of new shirts coming up, some logo shirts, and we have on the album we had three different vinyls and a digipack CD, and then I think a t-shirt with the artwork of the album, and we'll add some more t-shirts later on this year, I think, and a long sleeve.
Okay, when we talk about gears, we must mention Solar Guitars. Having talented artists on their roster like Paulo Papatinasiu, better known as Mephisto of Drama Noir. We're talking about Tommy Vaterli of Cardinor. We're talking about Kirk Weinstein of Crowbar. We're talking about Nocturno Culto of Dark Throne, to mention some. Henric, are you endorsed by Solar Guitar as well? And what are your experience with them in recording studio? I mean, using these gears and when you're doing live shows.
I actually was working at Fender Guitars for 10 years. So when I was working there, I actually started collaborating with Ola, because he did a lot of gear reviews. So we started working there, and I endorsed a lot of bands from Sweden for the brand EVH. And all of a sudden, I started endorsing Jensen from The Haunted, and he and Ola was playing the same band. So we started hooking up. And when I was about to record this first album, I felt that shit, the guitars that I have are not doing it for me. They can't keep in tune, and they don't sound great. And yeah, I have to do something. So I contacted Ola, and he helped me out and got me a deal. And I bought a guitar. And then I've been using it since, and I'm just selling my other guitars now because I want to buy a new one. Because I want to have two of these guitars. Because, man, I'm telling you, the Evertune Bridge is just exactly what I'm after. It's perfect for my playing, and it just feels comfortable. And yeah, I love these guitars. And the whole album was recorded so much faster this time around, as I didn't have to sit down and tune my guitar all the time. It was just perfect. You know, I could take the guitar up, try to tune it, and I just realized that I didn't have to. And I just started recording. It was perfect.
You can wait to play in live, to use them, to experience them live.
Yeah, as we haven't had any live gigs since the first album. So I haven't tried it live yet, but I've done a rehearsal with it and it felt great. So we'll see. We have only rehearsed, I think, 4 times with this band, and we have played live 5 times. So...
To go to the last part of this interview, NIGHTRAGE, a new offering, Hädanfärd, delivers an intoxication blend of uncompromising black and death metal, symphonic arrangement, and a bleak and mesmerizing soundscape, and exactly what you would expect to get from these Swedish extreme metal veterans, especially for fans of Marduk, Emperor, Dissection, Dimmu Borgir, Behemoth, and many more. Looking forward to 2022 and hoping stages will be reopened all over the world. What are the band plans for this coming year, Henric?
Right now, we don't have a booker, but we would love to come out and play. And I'm thinking we should do like a short German tour, a couple of gigs there because we have a great following there. Do some Swedish shows, of course, very close and easy for us. But then we've got some offers for Canadian tours, and we'll see. We also spoke about US tours, but it all depends on if we can get the terms we need to be able to make it. Because as we do this, besides our jobs and all this, it's important to be able to get something back from it. But it's a small band, up and coming band. You can't really set any high expectations for big venues and stuff like that. So we only have big hopes, but right now we don't have anything planned. As I said before, it's all bands are trying to get out and play right now. So it's like there are going to be so many gigs. It will be hard for people to actually choose what they're going to go to.
Don't forget, the thing is, most of them are already sold out.
Yeah. It's really crazy. But I mean, it's not only the bands that want to come out and play. It's also the fans that want to come out and listen and enjoy and have a good time again and listen to fast drums and guys screaming at them. So, I mean, it's going to be a wonderful time again soon, I hope.
I'm looking forward to move over to Europe and to start touring again. But I'm wondering, especially 2022, if I'll be able to get tickets.
Yeah, I sure hope so. Wacken is a strange festival. They sell out their tickets. It's like 100,000 people buying tickets the first day or something. It's sold out before they even release the first band. It's just so sick.
The festival gets sold out on a normal condition. They sold out in like a week or 2.
Yeah, it's normal. You sell 35,000 tickets in like a couple of months. That's normal. Nowadays, everybody's just that, okay, it's going to be good. It's good every year. You know there's going to be good bands. I buy the ticket already now, so I don't miss out.
I love always being at Wacken or Summer Breeze or all these great festivals, but, always judge, always sees the bill, who is going to be playing. Sometimes even if it's Wacken, if like 2019, I didn't go because I didn't like the lineup so much, not to take credit for the bands that played there that year, but I like that, like more extreme metal. That year I seen that there was a lot of hard rock and power metal bands and all these bands, genre that I'm not interested in. So I decided to stay away, to go to another festival.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And I know exactly what you mean, power metal. And I listen to that a lot as well as I grew up. That's not what I want to see when I go to a festival. Maybe some, but not like the biggest part of the bill. It shouldn't be that kind of music from me.
Talking about power metal, not to take any credit, I love power metal. I mean, when I see Primal Fear or when I see Sabaton, even Powerwolf, these bands, even the heavy metal, talking about Euro, I mean, you get to see great bands doing this kind of stuff. But I love my extreme metal. I love black metal. I love death metal. So when you go to festival, I really want to see these bands.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Okay, Henry, to conclude this interview, I'm going to hand you over the microphone of Madam Messiah Radio International for you to thank whomever you want to thank.
Thank you, DJ Vampire, and thanks a lot to Madam Messiah Radio International. It's been a great time talking to you, and good luck with your 13th anniversary.
Thank you very much. We are still celebrating. Okay, Henry, once again, I want to thank you very, very, very much for this interview. It's been so pleasure talking to you. And yes, I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best with the band. I wish you all the best with this great new album. And please say hello to all the band members for me.
Of course.
Yeah, I hope you can get some show schedule. So we're going to be following you guys to see if I can meet you guys on the road, if I can see you guys playing live.
Oh, I hope so too. And yeah, we'll talk to you more in a year or so when the third album is out.
Yeah, we got to get in touch. And if you have any news, please don't hesitate to contact me. Our door's going to be wide open for you guys. Yeah, and besides that, take care of yourself. Make sure you get your vaccination.
Yeah, the same to you.
Okay, like I always say, metal on. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.